11111. Can anyone hear me? 11111. 11111. Guess it can. I don't want that. How do I get rid of that? We stuck again? What's going on here? Is up with this thing? How are you? Just getting this. YouTube's been giving me the hardest time last couple days. I don't know what is going on with them. Let's turn up the volume there. Yeah, nice to see you here, Celeste. I was trying to start it earlier and it was just stuck on going live. So I had to get OBS out and start working with that. It's just a nightmare so far today. Yesterday too. That's kind of why I was doing today. I'm all, okay, well, I'll, just do it today. Maybe yesterday was a bad day for YouTube and me. No, still the same. I don't know what's going on. Now I got this second stream going on. They got the vertical and the live. I don't get it anymore. This one, which one's going through? Sorry. We'll get down to normal things in just a second. Once I figure out what's going on with this thing. There it is. Well, so far it's just me. I guess we can talk about anything. I was going to do the typical Q&A, ask where I live, but I think I've screwed the stream up so bad. It's just me and you right now. Or let me see. And it says from the Carnival Radiance. Jeez Louise. Give me a second here. Let's fix this. Give it a new thumbnail too, real quick. The proper thumbnail. That might be better. All right, let's see how we are. Well, let's talk about Portland. Let me see how many people we got in here so far. Chat rate. Concurrent viewers too. Am I on the even right thing? Wow. This is funky. So, let's see what we got here. Oh, no, I got on members only. That's the problem. All right, let's fix that real quick. Public. There we go. That might fix things. Open. That's why it was just me and you. We were on members only. I've done 2 other members only streams in the past, and there was only like 4 of us in there. So it's like, I mean, we ran out of things to talk about real quick. Okay, let me see now. We should be getting some more people in here. There we go. Hey, Jen, how are you? It was just me and Celeste sitting here for a while. We only had it in members only, so we're going good again now. Okay. Do a little change here. Automatic mode. Overlays on. Monetization. Overlays. I don't have no overlays. Yeah, I got too much of a delay here, so it's going to take... What was the fight at the Halloween party? Oh, God, that's many years ago. So, in case you guys missed the live stream, or was that on a video I did? Oh, yeah, someone called me, said I looked like Mr. Clean yesterday. So, the funny thing is, in case you weren't here yesterday, I went to a Halloween party decades ago, before I was married, ex-girlfriend. And her suggestion was we go dressed as a couple, but she'll be the guy, I'll dress like a woman. She thought this was a great idea. I was like, there's no way I'm doing that. Luckily, I didn't, because, and the reason we got in the fight was really something stupid. It was hockey related. So, something that happened in a hockey game like 6 months earlier. Anyway, so I get in a fight in this party with this guy who's just a moron. And I thank God I didn't go dressed as a woman, because that's my opinion. I know it's how people are. The story would have come up over and over about, in our group of people, but all anyone would remember was he got beat up dressed, or he got in a fight dressed up as a girl at a party. Yeah, she's an ex for a lot of reasons. That was one of them. Yeah, yesterday was a pretty tough day to stream. It was giving me a hard time, and then today, it was still doing the same thing that yesterday. We start off with a problem where it was just saying going live, and just spinning, and it never came on. So I stopped the whole thing and went to OBS, which is a software you use to get online. That had no problem whatsoever. YouTube's stuff had a problem. So yeah, hope everyone's doing good. And I don't like how this... So YouTube's got this new thing. I don't think you guys can see it, but unless you're, what do you call it, on a phone, they give me the vertical and the horizontal view, and so it's bothering me. And one's really delayed, and the other one isn't. Wow, confusing. It's a rough day to be a YouTuber. When do I plan to retire, David? Probably never. I mean, unless this gets to be too much, because sometimes, especially now, because we're trying to get things rolling after YouTube's made so many changes, if it gets too much, aggravating-wise, I'll probably retire, but I like doing this, If I was working a normal job, I would retire the day I was available to retire, But, yeah, this, I probably never will. I might back off a lot and just maybe sell this channel or work something out with my son, but I'm going to be at it for a while longer. If I do, I'd probably stop and just start making on this day videos, because I really love that channel. It just doesn't make any money. Do you find using AI tool is effective to effective bin property selection? Guys on the ground, I wouldn't trust AI with anything right now. What I use AI for my videos, thumbnails, which I'm getting away from, but I use it to find articles, okay? So, or papers someone wrote, or just it guides me to where I need to be to get the information I'm looking for. I get the information. They sometimes just point the way where I will find it. Beyond Rails, how are you? So yeah, we gotta, I don't know. Portland has a couple minor league teams. You know, they're really low things. Like we got the Pickles, which people go to all the time. They're a lot like the Bananas. That plays at a little park, and it's packed all the time. Beyond the Rails, I think Raleigh and Portland are the ones that'll get the next round of teams, because Portland has everything in line. I know Utah's trying to get a Major League Baseball team, but Raleigh, Portland, Utah, and one other one, I believe, is possibly going to get one. But we have the Hillsboro Hops in Hillsboro, which is part of the Portland metro area, and that's a good time. This is a World According to Briggs video, yes. We do live streams occasionally. There's a reason I like to do as many live streams as I can now, because I don't want to get caught up in YouTube has a problem right now where they're trying to get rid of so many AI channels. Sometimes just because I don't show my face enough, I might get lumped into that batch because it's all AI doing it. So it's not a real human. It's not going, oh, Briggs is real. So I don't want to get caught up in all that. So I want to show my face as much as possible. Gypsy Bano, how are you? Like yesterday and like all our streams going until the end of this month probably, or next month, all proceeds from Super Chats go to McMuffin's backyard. Oh my God, did I put non-subscribe? Okay. You guys can't see it, but right now, since I didn't hit subscribers only, we got a bunch of trolls in here. I saw an interesting video on trolls where the guy said trolls get ignored so much now on, you know, Instagram, YouTube, whatever video service there is, that Reddit has been the new place to be a troll, because you're going to get a conversation there, and that's really all they're looking for. So, I mean, every time I go to Reddit, it's just not like I'm the bastion of positive energy, but every time I go to Reddit, it's all nothing but negative. No matter what they're talking about, it always seems to be negative stuff. And even if the whole subject is positive, someone gets in there and tries to put in a negative angle. I shouldn't complain about it too much. I mean, I built a career off people that enjoy negative stuff. Hey, yep, I am. Thank you, David. I'm a very incredibly handsome man for getting up there in age. I'm a Gen Xer, by the way. Someone called me a baby boomer the other day. I'm not a baby boomer. This thing's making my teeth look yellow. I think it's my lighting I got. Yeah, it is tiring. Now, you know, that's kind of how X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it is now. I get on there and I just get in a bad mood. In like 10 minutes, I'm in a bad mood. Oh my God, that's so bad. They're adding ticks to AI now, so you'll think they're humans. I heard one not too long ago that was including breaths. I want to see how long this delay is. So tell me when you hear this word. Boom. Just leave it in the chat. Be ready. Thanks, Silverliner. Thank you. Okay, so it's about a 10-second delay. Atlanta's hell. Atlanta's hell on earth. Silverliner, the comedy you put into your videos is unmatched. Thank you. It's dry humor. Not a lot of people get it. Do you think the desert Southwest cities are going to have trouble growing because of water shortage? They are, but there might be silver lining. There might be something in the future going on. Now, in case you don't know, San Diego or I think it's Carlsbad, they have a desalinization plant, and it is working well to the point where California might consider not using as much Colorado River as they need. Like they might actually not need the Colorado River soon because apparently this desalination plant thing is working so good. Well, each state gets an allotment. Each major city gets an allotment. So I guess, I'm not an expert on this. San Diego has already said, well, we don't need half of what we used to use. So I forget how it goes, but I think Arizona is now paying San Diego for their portion and their share of the Colorado River. So there might be a lot of that going on. Desalination has been going on in the Middle East for, decades. And now it's getting cheaper and cheaper because of technology. And that was always the big hurdle. It was very expensive. So I think in the coming years, it'll be states like California will be selling, millions of gallons of water to states like Nevada, Arizona, even all the way out to Utah. You never know. I'd say the next 10 years, it'll be profitable to have a coastal state, be in a coastal state. That's where they'll be making their money. Just like, states like Texas make a lot of their money off oil, and Louisiana, matter of fact. California might be making it off of desalination. So it does suck in Nevada, Arizona, and all these western states, but I think that might be a thing of the past soon. Something could happen, change all that, but as it just takes one study to find out that there's some kind of bacteria that it's not picking up or something like that. I don't know. I'm just saying that something like that could happen. We have so many other things in our water. I don't know if we notice. What will be the first few things you do following piece of property? What was the first thing you did upon a piece of property? Like, I don't even know where that is. Bare butt truth. Baby boomers are the best. Grew up best music, cars, freedom. So baby boomers, I think, grew up with excellent music for the most part. I mean, you went through the 50s, 60s, and 70s. I argue, probably because of my age, one of the best times we ever had for music was the 1980s. I think the 70s, even though there was some serious rock ballad, I think disco kind of tainted the 1970s. Even though you had amazing bands like Led Zeppelin, REO Speedwagon, Supertramp, the Rolling Stones, all put out great music during the 1970s. I think the disco era kind of puts a black eye on them. But I think the 80s, in my opinion, probably because when I went to high school and stuff, was the best time for music. You just had it wasn't just rock and roll or, country western. They only had like 5 categories. By the time the 80s rolled around, you had several categories. New wave, which became alternative. You had punk rock, of course, rock, country. Then all of a sudden hip hop starts bleeding in. You just had all these things. I'm not a fan of hip hop, but I acknowledge that was and still is great music, just not my thing. So I think that's my opinion. Married a boomer? EDC next year? Oh, yeah. You still going to that? That the one they have out in near Vegas? Electronic music thing? Hey, I love potato chips. How are you? Welcome back. Remember you from yesterday. All right, how many people we got going here? 68. Don't forget to hit that like button, guys. Okay. Sorry, just looking at some stats here. Go look at this over here. Live. After what happened yesterday, I'm like super paranoid. Everything's just gonna fall apart on me. That sucked yesterday. Oh my god. I think the way I got to go is just start using OBS. I used to use Restream, and yeah, I liked it. It's just they kept raising the price and they didn't change anything. It's a new company bought it, or is that StreamYard? StreamYard may have been it. But anyway, I was using one of them. And a new company bought it. They changed the logo and a little bit of the outlet, but they gave us no other tools, and it's like they doubled the price. I was like, I don't want to pay that just on principle. I don't think I've ever had 600. I think at one point, one day I did one that I laid out in advance, which I never do. But the max I remember was like 300 and something subscribers. And that's one reason is I don't announce it is so I don't get 600. I mean, I wouldn't mind having 200 or 300 again, maybe not even that. I like having around 100, 150. That's usually manageable because I'm doing this myself. When I start getting like 200 people in the live stream and they're all leaving comments, and then I got all the people I got to block because they're, throwing out racial slurs. Yeah, that's it gets to be too much for me. I mean, I always talked about maybe getting someone to help me with it, but so I just upload it right away, don't tell anyone, and then just whoever shows up, who shows up. I mean, I will put it on my page now as a post. So that's about the only warning you're going to get. North Main, Irvine, California. Sioux Falls is cool. Sioux Falls is nice. Henderson, Nevada. I was just talking to my friend from there. Her and her boyfriend, who's another friend of mine, they moved out to Henderson probably 2 years ago. They had the sweetest deal. So they started renting a house, I want to say right around 93 or so. And it was this nice old lady. And this is in Redondo Beach. And their rent was ridiculous. It was normal for the time. Like, let's say the house they had in 93 was $1,000 a month, which was probably normal, average. Well, the old lady just liked everyone there and didn't like any headaches. And they fixed most of the things that happened there. And they didn't really call some, plumber or anything like that. She never really raised the price on them much. I mean, a couple $100 every 5 years or something. Nothing major. And then she died. And the kids took over and said, we're selling this house and, tearing it down so we could put a big mansion here and sell it for $2 million. So they're all, well, we've saved so much money over the years, we'll buy a house. So they moved out to Henderson. But it was like one of those things like, hey, you should buy a house. But their rent was so freaking cheap. It's like, what's the point? San Antonio. I love San Antonio. George Costanza. George Costanza. Are you trying to say I look like George Costanza? I know someone that is like living the life of George Costanza. Still lives with his parents. He's like 40. Never really had a legit job. Always applies for jobs he's underqualified for. Works there a couple months. When they realize he doesn't know what the hell he's doing, they finally get rid of him. North Carolina, man. Everyone's sweltering right now. Someone earlier, JVS guy or JFC guy, he was like, going, it's Saturday. Everyone's outside and enjoying the thing. I don't know. Some places it's kind of hot and people are inside with the air conditioning. I do. It's actually in Bethany, Pennsylvania, which is like on the outskirts of Honesdale. But I still have that property. Doing nothing with it right now. I'm trying to explain to someone sometime that how much things changed in the amount of time when I was going to high school. So when I was in high school, early 80s, honestly, and I'm not trying to be crass or anything like that, but we were under the impression, that's what we thought was, you could only get AIDS if you were gay. That was just, dumb kids. That was the information we had. It wasn't until I was like a sophomore, junior, people started coming out going, oh, no, no, it doesn't work like that. Everyone could get it. And that kind of changed our ways. But the early 80s was a great time to be a high school student. Yeah, I always thought that was one of the strangest things, that why did we believe that? Why was that our mindset? Oh, I'm not gay, I'm not going to get it. It's like, that's not how they don't have a punch card when you get a disease. Oh, well, you're one of these people. You get the disease, you don't. Do I think I will ever leave Portland? Well, I live on the outskirts. Like, I'm almost not in the metro area. But with a granddaughter and my kids here, and probably get some more grandkids eventually, I probably won't be leaving here. I want to. I want to move someplace else, Washington. I wouldn't mind moving to Pennsylvania. My family's not going for it, but I might just move over the river to Washington to save on some of that state income tax and business things. I got all these different things I got to do for business. Hey, they gave me this one the other day, which is Oregon Saves. Okay, all the employees have to sign up for Oregon Save. Now, you can elect however much. It's basically like a 401k program run through the state, something like that. So you can elect on their website how much you want to put in. You don't have to put in anything. You just put zero. Well, if you put zero, it won't let you continue. And then you keep getting emails. Hey, you got to set up your thing here. Set up. I don't want you taking money out of my thing. I already got a 401k. But yeah, so it's one of those weird things about Oregon that I don't like. On this day, I really wish On This Day would make money. Do I feel the cruise experience is still worth it? Not since they went. So during the pandemic, they all lost a lot of money, and I think they are trying too hard to make up that money. So the prices went through the roof and services got cut. I'll give you an example. I used to go on Norwegian cruise lines, and it was expensive because I went to the Haven with the butler and all that stuff. But it was worth the experience. Butler was in there. The room attendant would do your room twice a day. Everything was always just perfect. Butler, the shows were amazing. And then all of a sudden, even if you were in the Haven, your room attendant only came by once a day. Your butler was there, but it seemed like he had more people. And then they started cutting the shows. So instead of 2 shows, they now have 1. It was just, and then some lame acts on the other days. So the one show would do it 5 days throughout the cruise, I guess. They'd always take 1 day off. And then they'd have lame acts up there, just a guy on a piano or something like that on the main stage. And it was just, they're cutting too many corners. And I kind of got discouraged. I kind of got a little depressed. So, and then the prices kept going up for less. And I was like, no, thanks. And then my favorite person that worked for Norwegian, she was my cruise person that would call and set up all my things. I just tell her where I wanted to go, how many people are going, and she'd figure it out. She had all the information, for my wife, anyone else that might go with me. She just punched it all in. I just had to say, hey, I want to go on that trip to Alaska on the Bliss on September 29th. She goes, all right, I'll send you all the information. That's all I would need to tell her, and she would take care of everything. Well, she quit or moved to another thing, and I started getting some dudes, and I didn't like it. And anyway, so I kind of quit doing cruises with Norwegian. I have a tag in the back of my pants that's driving me crazy. Would I ever consider Disney cruise? I would for my granddaughter, but she's kind of getting out of that phase, and we kind of kept putting it off, and now it's like she probably won't want to go to a Disney cruise. So, I mean, I might if I get another grandkid down the road here, but as it is, it's not worth it. I went on a Mexican Riviera cruise. It was fun, a little bumpy. Yeah, sometimes they have a tendency to do that. We've been on a couple up in Alaska where it was pretty rough. Um, but for the most part, we've been very lucky. I think I've been on 17 cruises, 16 cruises, something like that. And I think 2 we had really, really bad nights or just bad day on the cruise to the point where they told everyone you can't go outdoors. Um, so there's that. Other than that, I mean, you go to the Inside Passage for Alaska, which I'd advise or suggest anyone thinking about cruises, make sure you do an Alaskan cruise. Make sure you get on one of the cruises that goes through Glacier Bay, because not all of them do. They go to other glaciers. Glacier Bay is a must. See that? It's like the only national park you can't drive to. You have to go there on boat or plane, I guess. Yeah, some states do have property taxes for their cars, which I find weird. Sorry if this is off topic. Chat with you yesterday, but I think there was an issue with the sound. Thank you for all your. Absolutely. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, yesterday we were having all kinds of problems. Louisiana. I don't mind Louisiana. I wouldn't live there. Don't like the humidity. Don't like that swamp smell in parts of it. And even though New Orleans is just an amazing city, I'd never live there. Just not my cup of tea. I need cold air, a good portion of the year. What's the worst cruise you've ever been on? It was a Carnival cruise. And I went to, it was only like a 4-day thing down to Mexico, which I'll never do again. And you know what it reminded me of? I used to live in apartments, and a lot of the crap that goes on in apartment buildings that aren't that nice was happening on this cruise. People fighting, people screaming at each other, just a bunch of trashy behavior. So, and that's what it is. It's a cheap cruise to go on. Everyone wants to drink their butt off on it. And it wasn't my thing. It was just like, I went to my room early every day because people were getting stupid. But that was the worst. I did take another actually Carnival one. And it was, so they bought some ships from an Italian line that was closing down. And then they turned it into Carnival Italian style. And the room sucked. It sucked. I mean, I was there with my cousin and his wife. That was the best part. The food was okay. But the ship was just too old. And it's like, I'm not the thinnest dude in the world, but I sat in the bathtub and there was not even an inch on each side of my butt. I mean, my hips were touching the wall of the bathtub. I understand that if you're Andre the Giant, totally understand. But I am not. Morristown, New Jersey. That were family friend. Let's take a look. Morristown, New Jersey. There's a lot of places around here that are pretty good. All in all, it's a... So Morristown itself is on the outskirts of New York City. It's on the outskirts of Newark. There's some good ones. So Madison, New Jersey has good stats. So does Chatham, Summit, and New Providence. Those look really good. If you go up a little higher, Boonton, I think Boonton, they've got a livability score of 81. Side note, the Morristown, their livability score is 83. The only thing, it's a little expensive. Everything else is a B plus or above. I mean, let's see what their crime is. B plus. 50% below the national average. Not bad. Their cost of living, though, 51% above the national average. Their housing is 147% above national average. So that's pretty rough. Let's check out the rest of the map. Now, if we go down to Madison, Madison even looks better. And it's even more expensive. Let's go to one of the cheaper ones. Catham. Let's see what Catham has for us. Oh, even worse. Oh my God. Morristown might be the best bet in this area. Housing is just expensive. Everything around here is really good stats other than cost of living and housing. You're outside of Patterson. I don't know if you want... Let's see what this Boontown is. Again, that's not that bad. 40% above the national average for cost of living. Everything else, crime, A+, employment, A+. Housing is expensive but plentiful. Health and safety, that's pretty good. They got an A for that one. The average home value here, or median home value, is $728,000, which would mean, realistically, yeah. The average home, because I like to look at the average home value, not the median. That gives you kind of a better idea what's going on there for the average person. If you're a statistician or a real estate professional, you'll want to see the median. But it's about almost $800,000. $774,000 is their average home value. Median rent there is $2,000. So overall, that whole part of New Jersey is very nice, but it's also very expensive. Let's see what the cheapest place around there is. New Providence. What was that one? Still cost of living. Oh, that's not that bad. Oh, no, it is. Never mind. I was looking at the groceries. Grocery only 8% higher. Let's see. Island. Nothing around here is affordable. Housing here in Iselin, Iselin, the housing there is 80% above the national average, and their health and safety is a D-. Yeah, don't go there. Honestly, out of all of them, I think Morristown's the best option. I hope that helps. All right. I've not been on a Great Lakes cruise. My thoughts on Pittsburgh, it's nice. I mean, for a major city, and it went through some rough times, but it's turned the corner a couple of years ago, and they've gotten a lot better. Temecula is, well, I had some friends out there. I think that the kids have all moved away and the mom just died. Used to work for my family. The mom did. Bare butt truth. We all did think we were invincible when we were younger. I did. I think it was probably sometime around 40 that I realized, holy crap, I'm not indestructible. Now, I wake up in the morning and I feel injuries I had in the Army 30 years ago. It's like, wow, I thought that healed. There it is again. Does Portland support any sports teams? Absolutely. The Trailblazers, they love it. My wife and I are moving to Sherman, Texas from Nashville in November. What does my research say about Sherman, Texas? Let's take a look. By the way, when I'm doing this research, I can't see anything on the screen, so if you're leaving me chats, I'm going to miss it probably. Oh, God. What did I just click? I hate that. Okay, so you're oh, wow. Okay, so Sherman is north of Frisco and Denton and Plano, which are really good. So not even really in the Dallas metro area, sort of. Cost of living is affordable. Crime says gets a C minus, 7% above the national average. That is not bad at all. Their violent crime is 2% below the national average. They don't have a lot of things to do out there. That's the thing. River Historic Museum, movie bowl, Cinemark. So you got 2 movie theaters. You got a Whataburger, hot and creamy donuts, Burger King, Panda Express, Taco Bell, Southern Made Donuts, Whataburger. So okay, so you got some things. Let's see what's wrong with their health and safety. You got 4 hospitals in the area. That is not bad. And a couple clinics and 3 pharmacies. So it's not that bad, but their stats go like this. Amenities F, commute F. I don't know why commute is F. Cost of living A plus, crime C minus, employment C minus, housing A plus. That is affordable. What is their housing? Their average. Their median home price here is $234,000. The national average right now is $326,000. So almost $100,000 cheaper. Not bad. Not bad, and you're still within striking distance of Dallas. Not a bad place to live, it looks like. I don't know much about it past that. Let me see. I gotta stand up a little bit. Oh. Don't go away from me. My chair has a habit of rolling. I bump it, and it's halfway across the room. Oh yeah. So, there's Texas, typical Texas town. Homes look decent. Nothing to get crazy about. I wonder if I can show you that. No, guess not. I should have set that up earlier. That doesn't look like a bad place to live at all. I'm sure it's got some rough spots, but looks pretty good. What's the farthest place you can go from a hospital in Texas? I would imagine Texhoma. Texhoma is probably the furthest place you can get away from a decent hospital. I'm sure they're going to have clinics and small little community places, but Texahoma would be it. Yeah, the nearest place that's a legit town is Stratford, and they don't have one there. They do have a El Primo El Cafe, so that's good. All right, let's get back in my chair. Butt's getting numb. If you could or want to live anywhere outside the U.S., where would that be? Probably Portugal. I mean, that would probably be the best option. Decent weather, probably a little warm for me most of the time. But, I mean, ideally, I wouldn't mind living in someplace in Canada where it gets kind of cold. But I think at the end of the day, I think the best place to live, because they always come down as the happiest and all that, probably Sweden or Norway. But at the same time, I don't think anyone would go with me if that was something I was going to do, because people like my wife, they enjoy things like the sun. Why is Idaho so popular growing? I think it was affordable compared to California, and a lot of people just wanted to get away from the California nonsense. And Boise was turned into a nice little place to live. So that kind of started the flood, and then it started growing, and it became more appealing to even more people. So, I mean, they're a victim of their own success, just like any place. It got really popular. Now they hate people coming there. Well, if you don't want people to move to your state, your city, run it like crap. I mean, that's what gets people not wanting to move there. Want to make it nice. You don't just get to make it nice for yourself. This is the United States. We're all in this together. Anyone gets to move where you are, So, like I always say, humans are like herding animals. A herd will go where they have the easiest way to survive. Too many predators over here, they're not going to hang out over there. Not enough grass over here, they're not going to hang out there. They're going to find this lush valley with few predators and a lot of frickin' grass. And then when they kind of tore that one up, they move on to another one. I mean, that's what's happened to California forever. I mean, California since 1849 was one of the most moved to states in the Union. It still is. They just have it is still the most moved to state. They just have more people moving out than ever before. So, I mean, California was where a dream was, where the coast was, and it made, everyone could get really good jobs there, and it was just an amazing place to live. And then, California didn't fall apart and get too crowded on its own. Well, that's what's now happening to Idaho. It's a nice place to live. It's easier to survive there, so people are moving where they could survive earlier or better, like we used to do when we were, herding creatures living in caves. Let's go. Good paying job. His wife, his teacher, they're doing very well. Yeah. My wife's son moved to 8 years ago. Yeah. A lot of people do that. You could survive in Idaho and place like Boise on a teacher salary and, another job for the husband or whatever, plumber, whatever. You can live comfortably there. California, not so much. The other one, is there another, one of my things open right here? Let me see something. In case you guys don't know, I tried to upload a couple times a day and it was still giving me the same crap from yesterday. Let me see if I got 2 going right now. That's not upcoming. That is dead right now. Okay. So this is the one that's working, I guess. Okay. Unless I just kicked everyone out. Nope, still got everyone here. Okay, is part of Oregon really trying to join Idaho? Yeah, it's just nonsense. I've explained this a couple times, but who wants to hear my explanation on the greater Idaho movement and how much BS it is? Marquette, Michigan? Marquette's nice. I mean, what I know of it. I know a lot of people that went to school up around there. Well, not a lot, too. And they're from that area, and they loved it. Okay, so I'll tell you what. I know there's a bit of a delay. I'm going to tell you about the Idaho movement right now. So, in case you don't know, there's a certain portion of Oregon that is really right-leaning, conservative, Republican, and we all know that the left side is very left. Portland, Eugene, Salem, the major cities in Oregon are very much, I wouldn't say liberal, but they're definitely Democrats. Portland leans liberal, pretty much are liberal, The rest of the state is kind of libertarian, except for the eastern side. Now, they're tired because they don't have hardly anyone living out there. You have whole towns that have 300 people living in there, and that's considered a big town for them. When you have Portland that has about 1 million people, or more than that, living in the metro area. And same thing with Eugene and Salem. So these people on the backside, they've decided that they don't get representation in Oregon. So they've started this thing called the Greater Idaho Movement, where they want to split Oregon in half and take their counties and join Idaho. Sounds great on paper, easy. We just leave with the state's land and our land and call it good. It's not how it works, and it'll never happen, and I'm going to tell you why. First of all, they'd all have to vote on it, all the counties, so that's great. Then it would have to go to the state for the state to vote on it, because you just can't take half a state away from the people that own that, which are the people of Oregon. And even though you're the ones living there, Oregon taxpayers own the entire state, not just counties. So you would have to get the state to vote on it, and you'd have to get more than half the state to go, yeah, you can leave. Well, it would that would be the first hurdle, and it would never happen. You can take it to court, and that'll take 10 years to go through court. It'll never happen. Let's say, in the grand scheme of things, Oregon votes, yes, you could join Idaho. Well, Idaho has to vote. Will we take this? And they will never take all of that section of Oregon because there's nothing out there. There's no positive for them. They got enough open land already. They don't need other open land that is really not generating any revenue. And what most people don't realize in this whole thing, they would have to pay, Idaho would have to pay Oregon for all the roads, all the state land that's out there, all the buildings like the schools, the, state buildings, whatever. Anything that Oregon built out there, which other than the house on someone's property was built by the state. Idaho would have to pay for that. Now, Idaho paying for that, they've got to get their people to vote on a generational tax that will raise their taxes. I've seen different things. I don't know their math, but I saw one guy that said their taxes would go up 10% at a minimum for the next 20 years. I saw another one that said their taxes would go up 30% for another 20 years. So I don't know. They'd have to raise their taxes to pay for it. Right there is going to kill the whole thing. Idaho's going to go, there's no way we want this. There's no benefit other than disgruntled people, and we might get a couple electoral votes out of this. It'll never happen. Those are two things that will never happen, and they'll never go anywhere. Now, in recent years, Idaho State Assembly took a vote and said, yeah, we'll entertain this and we'll talk about it. Some of those people, the Greater Idaho Movement, they act like Idaho said, yeah, we're good to go. Whenever you can work it out. It's bullshit. So that would never happen. But let's say all that fell into place and they got the okay to move from Idaho, from the people of Oregon, and they're ready to go, and they're ready to split the state down the middle and take all their counties with them. Now it's got to go to Congress, okay? So it goes to Congress. Congress would have to vote on it, and I've heard different, but I've heard it has to be unanimous, okay? So Congress doing anything unanimous is never, even if they've got to get more than, let's say, 60% of the votes, it'll never happen. Even if they get that done, it would have to go to the Senate. And the Senate has to get, 60% to make something like that happen. So it'll never happen. That's too many hurdles have to happen and too many stars have to line. Let's say all of that happen. Your president has to sign for that and has to write it off. Depending on the president you have at the time, because this isn't happening next year or the next 6 months. It's going to happen 20, 30 years from now. Matter of fact, most of the people that are trying to get this to happen will be long dead by the time it ever did happen if they got through all that. So whenever anyone says the Greater Idaho Movement is a serious thing, I just kind of chuckle at them. It's not. Yeah, there's other people talking about Northern Idaho. There's one other thing that I forgot to bring in here. They want to move to Idaho because of the politics here, and it doesn't match their politics. Okay, what happens in 10 years if So many Californians and so many Oregons have moved to Idaho. Now Idaho is kind of leaning liberal or Democrat. That could happen. I mean, there's serious movement towards Texas becoming more Democrat. Who would have ever thought that? Ever, you know? Now, I'm not taking a side on politics. I'm just laying down the awful truth. What happens 10 years down the line after this movement happens? Are those same people that joined the Greater Idaho movement, are they going to be wanting to move back to Oregon? Because maybe Oregon's conservative by then. Do we just keep doing this every time people aren't happy with what's going on in their state? Never happened. Anyway, that clear anything up for everyone? Carolinas also split when we were a country of a couple million people and there was less than 100,000 people in there, and it was a hell of a lot more manageable, and the states and the countries, or the entire country, didn't put so much into that state. That was a lot easier to do 200 years ago, 150 years ago, whatever. To do it nowadays, absolutely impossible. Actually, there's been a couple states that have split. West Virginia was part of Virginia. The Carolinas were the Carolinas. And Maryland was created out of parts of Delaware and other states. I forget which ones. I mean, you look at the map of Maryland, and you could tell this thing was pieced together as an afterthought. I mean, Maryland borders Delaware, Virginia, West Virginia, Pennsylvania. I could have swore there was one other one. I guess that's it. Oh, they're really close to bordering New Jersey also. You just tell the way it was shaped. They're like, someone wants, it's like some wealthy landowner in Maryland wanted his own state. They're, all right, well, we'll give you a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Yeah, true. Maine was part of Massachusetts. The Dakotas, I don't know if the Dakotas were ever, they were the Dakota Territory. It was never like there was a state of Dakota, and then they split. But it was, when it was territories, it happened all the time. I mean, we got the Louisiana Purchase, got all that territory and split it up into a bunch of states. Pre-Revolutionary War, when they split, okay. Yeah, so to do it nowadays, back then, a lot easier. I mean, we were shaping the country into something. Our state borders haven't moved really since we gained Hawaii and Alaska in the 1950s. Thank you, Jeremiah. Yep, before the Louisiana Purchase, places like Texas went all the way up to Wyoming. I mean, in the 1800s, Utah was a territory, which I believe had part of Colorado, too. Did I miss any super chats, or did we just not do any today? I don't think we got any. I hate it when someone does that and I get talking or I'm researching something and I miss it. You mentioned this video game months ago. Da, 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 da. And when people... Yeah, West Virginia kind of broke off. Oh, thank you very much, TG. I really appreciate that. Raleigh or Madison, Wisconsin? Sorry, but Madison, Wisconsin's the winner always with that one. I think what Madison is one of the best cities in the United States, especially for family. I mean, if you can get past the cold, which it gets cold there, it is a nice, clean town with good people, and they got jobs. Their housing is reasonable for a really nice city. Matter of fact, let me tell you what that is. Or state, well, city and state. Madison. Yeah, so $432,000 for a major nice city, that is not bad. Let's give you something I think is comparable in another state, which I don't know, what would be comparable to Madison? Let's just look at Raleigh. Raleigh is actually probably going to be cheaper. So that's 432 in Madison. Raleigh is 435, and I think Madison is a far better place to live. Raleigh is not terrible. I mean, I'd choose that over St. Louis, Miami, Dallas, tons of different cities. I would choose Raleigh over, but I think, you know, when you put it up against Madison, there's not much as far as big cities go. It's a medium city actually, but that can beat it. Love Madison. Even though Appleton, Wisconsin's great too. What is a super chat? There's a little cash button down at the bottom there, and it basically donates. All donations from this or super chats are going to McMuffin's new backyard. Hey, Wisconsin, how are you? Is Madison the best state capital? No, I think that's going to be... Hey, thanks, Ann. How? I appreciate that. Always good when someone supports the channel. Madison is the best. No, I think as far as well run and looks nice, you're going to have to go to Vermont and Montpelier. Madison is not bad, though. And no questions. Just good luck with the yard for your pig. Yeah, she needs a new backyard. What it breaks down to is we were like, oh, okay, well, we can do this and da-da-da-da. Well, we need a retention wall and all this other stuff. So what we thought we were going to dump about $5,000 on ended up being over 10. So we're like, uh-oh. So besides super chats, all the ads that run on this thing, that money will go towards her backyard. Now, if YouTube hadn't had, you know, the thing where everyone's views got cut in half, probably be no problem. Yeah, if you guys don't know that, a lot of the channels, they talk about how their views are down and stuff. Something happened middle of last year where we started getting half the views we did. A lot of it has to do with what they're doing with AI, trying to get rid of AI. Well, it's affected us in a big way. So half the views means half the pay. So, and they keep suggesting I do more live streams. So here we are, not just for the money portion of it, but builds the community. I missed the last message. Raleigh, North Carolina, good luck. A pig, yeah, she's a pig named McMuffin. She likes to wear hair bows. I think I got both the super chats. I got LTG, Madison, Wisconsin. Good luck with the pig for a year. Got that one. Yeah, I got them both. Oh, your last message. Let me see what it was. Don't see it. Do you think Portland will ever get another professional sports team in any league? Yes. So I really think they're going to get a Major League Baseball team, whether it's a new one or a team moves here. We pretty much got all the funding, all the land. We just need the okay from Major League Baseball that they're going to give us a team, and we could do that. So yeah, I think that's what's going to happen next. The Portland Trailblazers might be leaving us, and that's because the new owner, he owns, could be wrong, but I think he owns the Carolina Hurricanes, which is in Raleigh. I think it was that. But yeah, so I think he might move them there. And that's what everyone's saying. He's acting like, oh, well, I need a better stadium. But he's just kind of laying down the groundwork to take his team to Raleigh. I am still a Browns fan. Been a Browns fan since about 1982. I don't see why I would ever change, even though they always suck. I am a White Sox fan, though, because about the same time I read a book called 8 Men Out, and it was about how there's a movie about it also, about how the White Sox are the only team that they know of that threw the World Series. So I became a fan of the White Sox back then. And last year, it was looking like the Browns suck, as always, and the White Sox, too. They came in second to last. This year, they're like in fourth place for the whole league. So for their division, they're number one. Charlotte Hornets, are they still there? I don't follow basketball, but I know they've had a lot of moving around lately. I kind of fell off, because I used to watch hockey all the time, because I played hockey and I quit watching it. Yeah, so there's the Charlotte Hornets still. Orlando Magic, Raptors, Nuggets. The one that caught me off guard was I didn't realize the Phoenix Coyotes moved to Salt Lake City. Now they're the Mammoths. But yeah, they have a team, the Charlotte Hornets, in North Carolina. Okay, one of my favorite people to make an idiot of themselves goes back years on this channel. I did something about Los Angeles. I talked about how we used to go down and watch the Kings play at the Staples Center. Well, thank you very much, Sunshine Lady. So I mentioned that we used to go down and watch the Kings at the Staples Center, and I get this guy in the chat going, "This fool doesn't even know where the this fool doesn't even know where the Kings play. They play in Sacramento." And he's all, "Geez, you have no credibility with me anymore." It's like 20 people in the comment section go, "So there's this hockey team in Los Angeles called the Kings." the guy deleted a couple days later. I went back to see how many more people left comments. He deleted the comment and eventually deleted his YouTube channel. I don't know what struck so many people with that one, but they were mean to him. This back before I had any blocks on words or anything like that. So yeah. The Browns were really good in the 1960s. Actually, they won I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they won the last 2 championships before they started calling it the Super Bowl. So they won back-to-back, I believe, is what it was. And then the next year they turned Super Bowl. They haven't been within a mile of it since. Hey, well, thanks. I'm glad I'm one of your favorite superheroes. YouTubers. Sorry. Apparently I'm a superhero now. Okay, anyone else experience Wi-Fi bottleneck? Yeah, something's going on with YouTube. I hope it's more and more viewers are showing up to it, but it's been acting weird, and a lot of it I get the feeling is connectivity. Like all the problems we had yesterday seem like it could be oh wow. Okay, I just realized something. I never have to go back and look and see if anyone made super chats because there's actually a button that shows all of them that happened in this chat. Not bad. I love it when I learn new things. But yeah, a lot of weird things happening right now, especially on YouTube. I don't know what's going on. They just changed things. I don't know if we cover this on my YouTube channel, Doing It with Briggs, where I teach about YouTube and just kind of tell you things that are going on around it and other, content creation, basically. I talk about Facebook and TikTok too. But I was just talking about this, that they raised the requirements that you need to, the achievements you need to get before you can get monetized. And to get AdSense, which is what I get paid for the ads that you see on videos, they raised it. Instead of having 4,000 watch hour in 12-month period, a rolling 12 months, it's now 8,000. So they doubled it. And then for shorts, they went from having to have like 10 million in 90 days views to 20 million. And I was like, wow, basically it's because of AI. That makes it harder for AI to do things. So it's a constant fight for them. I think that's going to, hurt a lot of people that are trying to get their channels going right now. But, they got to do something about AI. It's killing the platform. Never saw me stream before? First time. Okay, so on this day, I want to bring that back. It's not monetized right now. And every time we do it, it gets the same views, which aren't much. There's a loyal audience to it. There really is. But, in the end of the day, I am a business. And especially nowadays, because of the way YouTube kind of cut things back, I had to let people go, sadly. So we let some people go. And so there's just 3 of us now instead of 7 actually. And so it's like, we don't have the time for that, because any time I put on that takes away from other things. So it's something we've tried and I love it and it's my favorite thing to do. It just doesn't make enough money. Honestly, just from the ads alone, this live stream will probably make more than On This Day makes in a month. Maybe not that much. But the 2 streams we had yesterday and today will probably make more than that. And that's even when I was making videos 3-4 days a week on This Day. I wish it would work. I don't know. Maybe if I figure something out, someday we'll get it going, but I wish. And it doesn't even cut off the channel for the ads. How's that? So you can still see me while the ad's running? I had never seen you live either. I thought maybe I've just been missing them all these years. Yeah, I do them occasionally. The YouTube suggests I do them a lot more now because of all the AI stuff, which I don't mind doing them. It's just sometimes I get a little lazy on my days off. Guam, how are you? Oh, you can't see me, but you can hear me during the ads. Oh, okay, that's how they're doing it? Is that for everyone? Is that how it is every time an ad pops up with you guys? That makes sense. I mean, yeah, I could be in the middle of explaining something. If they cut you off for 10 seconds, you're going to be like, what? Oh, okay. Have a good day. Uh-oh, it looks like I'm frozen again now. Unless I hit something. Nope. There we go. Guess I wasn't frozen. My playback was. Terry Ann, how are you? Oh, okay, that's weird. Yeah, there's some weird stuff going on YouTube. Like rare butt truth. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with YouTube. I know they're trying to make things better. In the end of the day, they got to make things better for us and their advertisers. That's, I mean, how they have a business. Without us putting out good stuff and having a easy time to make this stuff, uh, their advertisers aren't going to show up because we're not going to show up. So, so I have a list of festivals I want to go to. That's not one of them. I'll look into it though. Any thoughts on comparing Northern California, Denver, Colorado? A little cheaper than California, in my opinion. So, I've done these things where I've compared cities and states versus type thing videos. And what's really weird is they do good in the long run, but they never do good at first. So I'm like, well, that sucks. And then I'll go back and look at the video, and it's been consistent for a year or so. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, doesn't grab people's attention, but it's always interesting to someone. Should probably try and do those in shorts. That would be better. But shorts aren't going to be paying, so point that. Colorado has gotten really expensive. Yeah, not as expensive as some places in California, but yes, it has gotten expensive. The Upper Peninsula? I've done different videos about Michigan where I've mentioned there's a difference and all that, but yeah. Flyover state. San Diego's water was the most vile liquid ever produced, and glad to hear. Yeah. Yeah, back to that desalinization thing. I think that's great. I think that's gonna be amazing for this the state of California. It's gonna make them a lot of money, and then of course everyone else is gonna jump on that has an ocean front like Texas and Louisiana, and they'll be pumping it into places. Well, they won't be. It's the western states, so I think Texas is as far as they'll go, and then they'll just be able to start feeding it to, New Mexico, Arizona, helping out. So where there is a water shortage and definite water problems in those western states, I don't think it's going to be that way in 10 years from now. I saw one of your videos that you spent time in El Paso. Do you happen to know if green chili is a big deal there in Mexico, Colorado? I had some green chilies there. I don't know if they're a big deal, but I was at Fort Hood for a while and going to El Paso. Love El Paso. Some of the best food. Legalization, it was expensive. Yeah. That legalization. It's so funny. There's so many people, and I sometimes have to bring it up. Since they legalized certain green products, some people act like it was just this horrible thing and stuff. And then you look at the stats and you're all, okay, statistically, it did great for the state. The crime went down on drug-related offenses. The state made a buttload in taxes, and it was all around good thing. Now, if you think it was a bad thing, it's really just a moral thing. I don't do that. That's not my thing. I don't like being tired. Not that I haven't done anything in my life. That's just never was my thing. I still drink beers and stuff, but it's like you just have a problem with it. It did wonders for every state that legalized it. Arizona's still safe for retirement. Yes, it's still one of the best options. Florida's becoming less of a best option, and South Carolina's picking up that slack. That's why South Carolina's been getting very popular in recent years. A lot of retirees are choosing that over Florida. Matter of fact, some of the Florida retirees live there about a year or two, and then they sell their house and they move to South Carolina. That's where you get the term halfback. Yeah, I know it's not halfway back to New York or whatever, but that's just a term they use for people that went down to Florida and then came halfway back. Your pick was in the top half, and the ad was Only heard the ad. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, I think that, well, I don't know. It's weird. What Jeremiah say? Jeremiah, the politics of Denver might be better than California. The Golden State continues to create odd things that cause hardship. But yeah, 100%. 100%. They do that here in Oregon too. I mean, I already talked about how we got to join that Oregon Saves thing, and they won't let you not join it. And then, they keep talking about adding more taxes. We're one of the most taxed state there is. The one thing that really irks me about taxes in Oregon is, especially in the metro area of Portland, they have this thing called Metro, and it's like another level of taxation. So you got the city, the county, the state, and the federal government, but right above the city, you have Metro. Metro's the metro area of Portland. They got their own taxes, and if you make too much money, they want a couple $1,000 every year so they can pay for the homeless. It's like, what are we paying for? Do you think the Ukraine war will end soon? Probably. I mean, it's a matter of finances now. Russia is spending more money than Ukraine is. Ukraine's spending 10% of the money that Russia is on this war. And I'm not just talking about their money, all money involved. So it's kind of what happened to us in the Russians in Afghanistan back in the 1980s, late 70s, that basically the Afghan people and whoever was backing us, usually us, we're spending half the money giving them Stinger missiles that cost, I forget at the time, probably around $4,000, let's say. And they were just destroying aircraft that cost millions. So that's what Ukraine's doing right now, too. So it's a matter of finances and how far Putin wants to push this. Check out Rockaway Beach. Oh, it is beautiful. I have a friend that was in he's a bouncer at a strip club. And he said this guy walks up the door, older guy with a beard, West Virginia hat on, looks around. He pulls out his money to pay to get in, and he goes, "You don't have no one doing that gender bending stuff." It's all gender bending. Who uses that phrase? And he goes, "No, we don't." It's like, who would say that? That is funny, though. Gender bending. All right. Tell you what, guys, I got to get ready to go. I got to go see my niece and her new baby and all that good stuff. Got to drive about an hour away. So I'm going to cut this off now. I'm glad we can spend some time. Let me see what this one. Is there any hope for Alchemist Delta? Don't even know what that is. Alchemist Delta? It seems to keep losing people every year. So in industry, have you ever been there? No, I've not. Not even sure what that is. Anyway, everyone have a great day. I will see you in the next live stream. We're probably going to be seeing a lot more of them here in the next month. So if you like the live streams, maybe we'll figure out a time to do it all together. Everyone have a great day. Be nice to each other.